how are you today? Let me send out a couple of invites here. Oh, look. Oh my gosh, my M names are back. Remember the people whose names started with M I couldn't invite anymore? Crazy. And suddenly, they're back. Well, one of them was. I wonder if another one. All right, let me try searching it. Oh, nope, still won't let me do that one. All right, but it let me do one. Maybe it will let me do another. Maybe it will bring back the other one another time. Crazy. Okay, so it is the weekend before Thanksgiving. I hope you all have some good plans and somewhere to go. I barely do, but at least I do. And have somewhere to go. I'm going to start with my primer spray. And then we're going to do this fun little look for fall. And I haven't done this one before, so this is going to be a new one. And it is so cute. And I'm like, this looks really fun. And this is one of these kinds that you can kind of do whatever, and I don't think it's going to mess it up. Because it is a tree. It is, oh, we can see the reflection of the light on this because this is a tablet. It's not a piece of paper. But that's my fall tree. Now, living here in Southwest Florida, we don't get fall leaves like this. So if I want to do that, I have to have like a makeup or have to have a picture. I don't get to see them here. All right, so let me get my foundation on. These are two colors right here. I kind of am mixing these right now. Even though we have so many colors, I still seem to always be able to find a place where I'm in between them. And if I get a little bit of a tan or I fade a little bit, then I can just use one of them. But I almost always, and all I do is go like that and then like that, and they're both on the brush. And then when I spread it on my face, this is a wax-based foundation. When I spread it on, it blends. You don't have to like mix it in something. It's like nothing to it. You just take, go like that, and then you have both colors on your brush. And poof, blend them around and they mix. So it's so simple. And this is really an ideal thing to get if you're darker in the summer and lighter in the winter. And then, you know, between those, the darkest you are and the lightest you are, you can be in between shades. Get a color that's the darkest you get and a color that's the lightest you get. And then all year, you can use just one when you're the darkest or lightest and mix them kind of custom like that just on the brush. You don't have to stir, you know, you could melt them together and stir them if you want, but this way it's custom. So if I'm a little darker in a month or a little lighter, so this is kind of what I'm doing, is mixing. Hi, Holly. You can hear me, right? I did mute the Zoom. I did remember. So I got on my foundation, and you can barely see this little red mark. You could see it a lot better before I put that foundation on. But I'm still going to use my little color corrector, which is this yellowish, it's kind of a greenish yellow, because it counteracts red. And I'm going to use that concealer to just touch on that red, and it will kind of blank it out. So today I've been planning my Thanksgiving cooking schedule. And the only reason I do it so exact like this, for two reasons. One, I try not to do everything in one day, because then by the time it's time for dinner, I'm exhausted. So anything I can do a day or two ahead, usually a day ahead, you can hear, oh good, I'll do it a day ahead. Like I'm making pumpkin pie ahead, I'm making Oreo balls, probably do that ahead, because those can be cold. And then I have two cakes that are best served warm, although they're good cold room temperature or anything, but they're really good warm. So I'm going to make those the day of. So the day before stuff, whatever time I do it, doesn't matter. And if it was my own house and I didn't have a set time, that wouldn't matter either. But I'm going to a cousin's house, and it starts at a certain time, and even though they probably, it's not that exact, I don't like to be real late. So the day of cooking, I try to figure out when do I need to start to get it done by the time I need to leave the house. So I've been mapping out, you know, making my little schedule. Start this at 11, start this at 10:30, start this at... So then it's done when I'm ready to leave. So I've been doing that today, planning my day of Thanksgiving cooking schedule just to make sure I'm done. Okay, so then I'm going to use this concealer. Oh, I don't know if you were here yet when I showed what I'm doing. It's so cute. Haven't done this one before. It is a fall tree with a bunch of leaves. And for some reason, I just like the look of like the orange across her face because it's different. It just gives the impression of, you know, fall colors blowing by. And we don't have that here in Florida. We have no fall colors, really. Dying palm leaves. I don't know if you've ever seen a picture of that on Facebook or something. Oh, look, the colors change in Florida. Yeah, when the palm leaves start dying, they do turn orange and brown and yellow. They do. But it's not because of fall. It's because they're just drying. They do that all year. I'm putting my concealer. This is color number 2. Ow. So far it is predicted to be 83 degrees here on Thanksgiving. And Friday is going to be 75. I wish I would come a day early so bad. But no, we're going to have the heat. But I would rather it be 83 than 93 or even 88. So it's at least low 80s. And look at the difference in that under eye. This one, it just looks like my whole eye is sagging down. And this one, I just lifted it up. That's all it is. Well, let's go ahead and do this part. I will show you the one eye with all of it done. Because this also being dark kind of pulls it down. And sinks it in. Gives me the sunken eye look. And the sunken and sagging. Because when you get a dark color, which is what my skin is there. It not only looks like it's sinking into your head. It looks like it's falling down. So it looks like it's going in and down. Ooh, somebody just went by in a golf cart by my little lake. I think that's the maintenance guy. Although I don't know why he's here on Saturday. I didn't think he worked Saturday. But it is probably him. Now look how I just lifted and popped out my eye. So this looks like it's sinking in and falling down. And this one looks like it's where it belongs. It no longer looks like it's caving in or sinking down, even though it didn't move. But this is, if you have really dark, and see, I have dark up here too. So I have real circles, they go all the way around, not just moons. It's just a hyperpigmentation that I inherited from my dad's mother. There were only a few of us in the family who inherited these dark circles, and why I hit the jackpot on that, I don't know. Mine are the darkest, I think, of everybody in the family. I think they were even darker than hers. I don't know why. Many of us got dark circles they're just not that dark. Mine are super dark. And the older I've gotten, the darker they've gotten. I would have liked to have opted out of that genetic inheritance. I did not. I would also have liked to have opted out of the really thin hair gene too. But that's from the same woman, my dad's mother. She had very thin hair too. And she could never get her hair to grow. Her hair would only grow to here. She was raised in an era and in a church that didn't believe women should cut their hair. And I'm talking about, she was born in 1913. So, you know, back in that era, they didn't think women should cut their hair. And hers, it would not grow past this. She would have it trimmed just to cut, you know, so the ends were neat. And they weren't, you know, split ends and whatever. So she did have it trimmed. It would never grow. That was it. Even when she was a little girl, I don't think it grew past her shoulders. It's bizarre. Just didn't. Now, mine will grow long, but it will grow about halfway down my back, and then won't grow any past that. But it's thin, and I don't like that. But that's from her. But my own mother didn't have hair this thin. So it's from Dad's side. Now, my dad had hair. He was never bald, but it did thin when he was older. And hers was thin. So those two things I didn't like. I also inherited my dad's side of the family's oily skin, which meant breakouts. Luckily, I don't have that. But that's why I don't have a lot of wrinkles, too. That one had a benefit. A lot of oily skin, you don't get wrinkles. So that one, was a blessing in disguise. The thin hair and the dark circles are not. They're not a blessing in disguise. But the oily skin, even though I had a lot of breakouts when I was young, I don't have a lot of wrinkles. I mean, not even, I don't hardly have crow's feet. And for my age, that's pretty impressive. I know women in their 30s have more wrinkles than I do. Because their skin's drier. So, the oily skin, even though I hated the breakouts when I was young, it was worth it. It was worth it now to not have the wrinkles now. That one I wouldn't want to trade, although I hated the breakouts. A lot of that issue was, because as soon as my skin started breaking out, Mom took me to the dermatologist, a really good one. One guy had a good reputation in town as a good doctor. And I got all kind of medicine. And the issue was, I hated doing it. I hardly ever did it. Sometimes I put it on, sometimes I wouldn't. Some of it I had extreme reactions to, like it would make the stuff with retinol in it, retinol. It made my skin raw, like to where it would bleed in the corners of it. It's too strong. So some of them, I'm like, all right, I hate this. The other one would just dry up the oil. It was dry, but it almost looked like calamine lotion on my face. Oh, that was pretty. That's what I wanted to look like. Pasty white. And it came with a little tube that you could add color to it so it'd match your skin, except it was too orange for my skin and never matched no matter. I could add one drop. I remember getting it one time, like, I'm going to make it the right color this time. Because I either had it too light or too dark. So I added one drop, shook it up, still too light. Because it was a liquid. I had 2 drops, shook it up, and when I finally got it to where it was the right level of darkness, where it wasn't too light, it was too orange. I could not make it the right color, because that stupid color that came with, little tube of color, liquid color, it was not my shade. And I could not make it my shade. So it was either looked orangey or pale. So I went with pale, because at least that looked like a more normal skin color, whereas orange it did not make me look tan. It made me look burned or something. So I was frustrated, even though I think you could put makeup on top of it. But most in that era, which you're talking when I was in high school, in that era, the makeup that you could put on, there was no oil-free. No such thing as oil-free makeup. So I was putting on this medicine that would dry up the excess oil. But if I put on makeup with oil, that counteracted it. And I would just feel so greasy. And so even though they came out with water-based, I did find out eventually. I'm like, water-based, everybody had oily skin, was so ecstatic about water-based foundation when that came out. Water-based, there's water-based, there's water-based. That came out, I think, probably in the 70s, the late 70s. And we all ecstatically bought it, only to find out years later, water-based did not mean oil-free. So, regular oil-based makeup was all oil. Water-based means it had water as the liquid with a little bit of oil. Still had oil in it. We didn't know. We thought it didn't have, it doesn't have oil. No, it did. It just had less oil. So what that meant was you didn't get oily quite as fast. But you still eventually, but if you had real oily skin, you still did. If you didn't have oily skin, it was great for you. Now I'm using this eyeshadow to put on my eyebrows, because she does have her eyebrows done. So then I was frustrated with foundations in that era because they all made me oily. Like, I'd put it on, 2 hours later, I was like, could wipe grease off my face. And that medicine would counteract it a little, but not forever. Not long and not all day. My oil would eventually overtake everything. Interesting. Isn't it interesting? But we all thought, those of us with oily skin, which usually other teenagers, that, we have now, and it was better. But I had such oily skin. It wasn't good enough. And I remember very clearly the day I went to this woman who sold makeup. And she it was probably before I was married, but after I was out of school. So we're probably talking 1980 to probably 1981, 82. It was probably 81 or 82, somewhere around there. Could even have been 83, early 80s. But I went, and she was selling this line of makeup, and I went to see her to look at the makeup, and she said, you know, asked about your skin type and everything, and she goes, this company, which interestingly enough, I don't think exists anymore. It was called Premier Collection of Beverly Hills. I have even Googled Premier Collection of Beverly Hills, and it doesn't come up in Google like it ever existed. And I'm like, but it did. I even have some container of it somewhere that says that on there, so I know that was the correct name. It does not appear in Google that I can find, but it existed, and I bought it for a few years. But she said this company has created an oil-free foundation. And it was, from what I can tell, the first one made. Because if you went to the mall and the nice brands in the mall, because I remember going to Clinique and different ones and asking, do you have oil-free? And they're like, no, just water-based. And I thought, just to see. And she was right. There wasn't any. But hers was. And so I bought some from her, and it was awesome. The first oil-free foundation that I found. And I was like barely 20, I think, somewhere near 20. So I still had real oily skin. But it was, since it was like the beginning, the first one, it was real tricky because it would dry really fast. So you know how usually when you use liquid foundation, I've seen people do, and I used to do, take it and you dot it all over your skin. And then you go back and either blend it with your hand, a sponge, brush. Usually we just used our hands. But I would usually kind of spread it, put it on my hand, spread it around like this, and then go back and blend. You could not do that with this because it would dry like that. And I'm like, 10 seconds it was dry. So what you had to do is get a little bit on your hand, go like that and blend that. And then get a little bit more and put it there and blend that. If you didn't blend it in the first 10 seconds, you weren't blending it because it dried. And then it was blotchy, splotchy, streaky. It was horrible. So you had to adjust how you put it on. But if you wanted oil-free, boy, was it worth it. Because it was oil-free. It was just had a blending. You had to be quick and only do a little spot at a time. If you dotted it like this, when you got back to the first one, it was dry. It was just done. So you couldn't do it that way. But they have since then have oil-free foundations that you can go back. They've used other ingredients or something. It doesn't dry that fast. So they improved them. The other companies that came out with them improved them. So it's much better. But this is a wax-based solid foundation that I'm using. So it does not dry. You can just, if you wanted to dot it, but I'm using a brush or a sponge, so I don't have to, but you can. You could take it on your brush and you can go back later and blend it before you put powder on it. It'll be fine. Doesn't dry like that. But I thought I found the foundation from heaven when I found that. It was at the time. Like, oh, I needed that. All right, now, I just realized she has really white inner corners of her eyes. Look at that. White. I really don't know why that goes with the fall tree, but I guess I can try to do that. All right, now, she also has eyeshadow that looks like a reddish brown, which I usually use these when I do this color. So let's do, not that brush, this regular brush that I use. So, yes, in my quest to find, I'm trying to decide what I want to do here. It looks like she has a color like this as a base, like under. Let's do that first. In my quest to find makeup that did not make my skin oily. And this all came from the story where I was saying when I had all this medicine from the doctor, I was not strongly motivated to use it because it all had some issue. It either made my skin raw, which was the one retinol cream, or that one I couldn't get the right color. So I either looked like a ghost or burnt. And then I couldn't really put makeup on top, even though the doctor says, well, you can put makeup on top of it. Yeah, but it was oily. because that's all you could get. Even if it was water-based, it was still somewhat oily. And then then I'm caking on stuff because I've already got this caked on. Then I put makeup on top of it. And then also you're talking about the fact that it took a lot longer. So there was no way I'm getting up at the crack of dawn to go to high school, which I had to do, and then putting on makeup. Too tired. Too tired. And in high school, I didn't care. I'm like, no, I'm not putting on makeup. I wore under eye concealer. I couldn't wear a mascara even though I wanted to. I couldn't wear it because it all ended up down here from the oil of my face. It would pull it off my lashes, and I would go home with really black circles from the mascara. Now, the Lime Life one does not do that. Thank goodness. It does not. The majority of mascaras still do that to me. They still do that to me. Or at least do it sometimes or somewhat. Lime Life one does not. She does not have... I think I'm still going to do some under eye liner. She has white in her waterline. If you look like right in her waterline. But I can't do waterline because my eyes rebel. They say no. So, and then they'll just tear. It irritates my eyes. So, if you can do waterline and you want to, go right ahead. But my eyes are too sensitive for it, and it doesn't matter what brand. They say no. Eyes decide, and the eyes say, I hate that. It's just like putting makeup in your eye. And because my skin is loose, that may have something to do with it, that I think it somewhat rolls to my eye. And it puts the makeup in my eye. Now, maybe that doesn't do that to other people, but it does it to my eyes. So, I have to opt out of waterline makeup. But that's alright. That's really no biggie. I mean, it's nice if you want your eyes to look really big and open to put white or cream in your waterline. It makes your eyes look bigger. But my eyes are actually kind of big. I don't have tiny squinty eyes. So I'm like, yeah, that's not worth it to me because it's just constant irritation to me. But I know people who do it and it doesn't bother them. If you're one of those people and you want that, that's good. Now let's do this color here. I like that color. It's kind of a very dark burnt orange. We'll put that here. This is a little softer version of the little tornado. I'm just using a bigger, fluffier brush because that looks like kind of what she has. So, during high school, my skin remained largely broken out because I was real inconsistent with medicine. Now, my brother had the same skin issue, got the same medicine, or similar, and he was religious with it. Boy, he would put it on day and night, like he was supposed to, all the time. And then didn't break out anymore. And he was 5 years younger than me, and by the time he started needing it, I was out of high school, and I remember thinking, why wasn't I that good? It was kind of my own fault, except that it all had issues for me. And I was also taking an antibiotic, like a low-dose antibiotic, which is something they would do if you had really bad acne, because it fought infection. And so they had me on tetracycline when I was in high school to try to help with that. And I was real inconsistent with taking that too. Because I hated swallowing pills. But I was taking that most of the time. And one day, it would have been while I was in the 12th grade, because I had been on that medication for 2 years. I had been on it for 2 years. Yeah, 2 years I was taking that. And one day, I went to Mom and said, I have a rash, and it was here on both arms. And I'm like, it's itching like crazy. And it wasn't red or pink, but it was little raised bumps. You could feel them, but it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't pink or anything. And it didn't peel or anything, but it itched. Like, and I would just like, and then one day I got another little patch right here. And like both places on here are, and in this weird place. And I'm like, Mom, I have this rash. And she goes, I'll take you to the back of the dermatologist. Took to the dermatologist. And it was, my regular doctor wasn't there that day, which I don't know if would have mattered or not, but that, you know, he had a partner and that guy was there. And he's like, oh, you probably picked up something in school. We will give you hydrocortisone cream. Well, back then, hydrocortisone cream only came as a prescription. You can buy it over the counter now. So he gave me a prescription of hydrocortisone cream. Came in a huge tube. I don't know how much you thought I was going to need. But I put it on, and it did make it quit itching. And it did make it a little better, but it never completely went away. I could still feel this little roughness. And sometimes this will come and go, and I'm like, why is that still there? But if I quit using the hydrocortisone cream, it's start itching again. And I'm like, why does this never go away? And it would seem like it would go away. And then it will come back mysteriously. And I'm like, I can't just be picking up something in school all the time. What would I picking up in school? Where did I bleeding my arm on something? Why would... It can't just be there permanently. I mean, this isn't... What would I be picking up in school? All right, let me do the liner. I guess I could go ahead and do it first. And so, one day, and I mean, it was like 6 months. This kept coming and going. And I had gone through this spell of being so sick of taking pills that I had not taken that tetracycline for a few months. And all of a sudden, that rash went away. And I'm like, oh, finally. I have finally completely shaken that thing. Thank heavens. I had no reason to put these two things together because I had taken that tetracycline for 2 years. No problem. At least not that I know of. And it was probably November, like now. And I got to thinking, Christmas is coming, and we always take family pictures and just snapshots, you know, of stuff at Christmas. And I'm like, you know, I want my skin to look as good as possible for Christmas. So I am going to be really good. And I am going to start taking my medicine like I'm supposed to. I'm like 16 at this point. I'm going to take my medicine. And Mom never hounded me with it. I think she just thought I was taking it. I don't think she realized that sometimes I skipped it. And I hadn't taken it for weeks. So, you know, it's not like my life depended on it. I think she just thought I was taking it. I don't know that she realized I was. Sometimes I just missed a few, but this I hadn't. I just like, I was over it. And so I just hadn't taken it. And I thought, you know what, I want my skin to clear up a little more for Christmas and pictures. So I'm going to go, and I'm going to be really good. I'm going to take that medicine. So I went and got those pills out of the cabinet I hadn't taken for weeks. And I took one, and about 3 days later, guess what? Came back. Same spot. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. This has been gone. How is it back? And so I thought, I got to thinking, could I be allergic to something? And I'm like, what have I eaten? And what have I eaten anything that I haven't eaten before? That I don't usually eat? I hadn't. And I'm like, I don't think it's something I'm eating. And then I got to thinking, like, what have I done different in the last few days? Could it be something? And I realized I started taking that tetracycline again. And I'm like, could that be the issue after 2 years? 2.5 now. Could it be that? I'm just glad I thought of it. And I thought, well, let me find out. So I took the pills, like I was supposed to. I forget what I took, one or two a day. And I took them like I was supposed to, every day for an entire week. Had a rash the whole time. Then I said, okay, because I wanted to note it, you know. Then I quit taking it. Didn't even say anything to Mom. I'm like, I'm just running my own test. And then, trying to decide what I want to do first here. Let's do this. Then I quit. All right, it's Sunday. I'm going to stop taking the pills today. So I stopped taking it. 3 days later, the rash went away. I'm like, oh, I think I just figured it out. And so then I went the whole week No pills, no pills, no pills, no pills, no pills, no rash, no rash, no rash. And I'm like, I'm going to give it one more test just because I want to know 100% for sure. So the next week, starting on like Sunday again, I took a pill again, or one or two, whatever that day's worth. The next day, the rash was back. Didn't even wait 3 days this time. Next day, I'm like, oh, 100% sure. I am having a reaction to that. So I told Mom what I'd done and how I'd waited, how I'd tested. She goes, don't take more pills. And I'm like, no, I'm not taking no more. And she's like, we'll go back to the doctor and tell him. So we went back to the doctor, and he goes, oh, you've developed a sensitivity to it. And I'm like, that's a thing? I thought if you were allergic, you were always allergic. I wasn't allergic when I first started. He goes, oh, no, you can develop it. Your body, I guess, just decides it's had enough. And he says, no, you've developed a sensitivity to it. So we'll give you something else. So they gave me something else. And I don't remember what it was called. I think it started with an S. But it was a different drug. And he's like, quit, don't take any more of that, and we'll give you this. And so they gave me this other thing. And I took it for maybe a week or two. And I started itching right here. Like, crazy itching. And like, it's not the rash, it's not the same thing. And I'm like, I don't think it's in my head, because I would have itched here again if it was just me making about why is my like jawline itching like crazy? I'm like, Mom, I'm itching. I would wake up in the middle of the night scratching my face. That's how I know I wasn't imagining it. And I would wake up. It would wake me up with me scratching. And I said, Mom, I'm itching, my face itching like crazy. I don't know if it's the new pills. I don't know if it's my medicine, the other medicine. She goes, just quit taking the pills to see. So I quit taking the pills. Quit itching. I'm like, should I take them again to test it? She's like, no. Don't take it, something you're having a reaction to. No, just quit taking the pills. So I was done with pills at that point. And I think I told the doctor, I don't want any more pills. No more pills. So I was done with pills. But I did learn, oh, that's kind of cute. You cannot be allergic to something and then become allergic. I learned that also with contact lens solution. I used to wear contact lenses. I am drawing a tree. And originally, they did not have, this was also, I got contacts when I was 15. They did not have originally preservative-free. If you wear contacts now, they have preservative-free contact lens solution. They didn't originally. You had to get preservative. Because that's all there was. Because soft contact lenses, which is what all that was for, were brand new. They were really new when I got soft contact lenses, which is a good thing because I could not wear hard contact lenses because my cornea is too steep. They tried the hard contact lenses on me in the eye doctor. And the doctor said, I suspect your cornea is too steep for these and you're not going to be able to keep them in your eye. And they're not going to do well for you. He said, but let's try them on you in the office and we'll find out. Because back then, I think the majority of people still got hard contact lenses because the soft ones were really new. And I think more expensive. So, but my parents were paying, so I don't care if they're expensive. But later I will. But so they put the hard contacts in my eyes, and they said, the doctor said, go out to the waiting room, wait. I'm going to let you sit out there for 15 minutes. Let your eyes just kind of adjust. And then we'll come back in and we'll see how they're doing in your eye. And I'm like, okay. So I went, Mom and I, she was with me. We went out to the waiting room with these hard contacts in my eye. And I could feel, they felt like rocks in my eye. Well, I'd never had anything in my eye before. So I figured it's just me getting used to something new. So the nurse came and called me, come on back. It's been long enough. The doctor's going to check. I'm like, okay. So we went back to the exam room. And when I walked through the door, one of the contacts went, pew, and shot across the room. And the doctor was in there. He goes, oh, those are a no for you. He goes, I suspected they were not going to work with your eyes, and we just proved it. He goes, okay, so your only option. And it took him forever to find it. It shot across the room somewhere. So he said, okay, so your only option is soft that are going to work for your eyes. I was so glad that they even existed at that point, or I wouldn't have been able to wear contacts. And I was desperate to wear contacts at 15 because I didn't want to be embarrassed that I had to wear glasses, because that's how I felt at the time. I felt like people are going to think something's wrong with me. I was very embarrassed. So you're 8. I know. And so, and actually the soft ones barely worked. He told me that I had to wear the biggest around ones, because, you know, they come in different sizes, like this, as far as, like, how big around they are. Or, I guess that's in, what is it? In circumference. They're different sizes. He put the biggest ones on me that he had, because he said, since those were he goes, you won't be able to wear the ones smaller around you. I had to get it to, because those contacts, they kind of suction onto your eye, but they ride on a layer of tears. But they have to, like, you know, stay sucked onto your eye a little bit. And to get past the steep cornea and get to the flatter part of my eye, they had to be the biggest ones I made. And they told me these are nearly custom made. Good thing my parents could afford it. That they had to almost have them specially made for me. And this company that they got them from did it, because my cornea is so steep. They're my tree. Now hers is a little thinner. That's okay. Mine's a thicker tree then. I'm trying to follow it a little bit. So I was able to get contact lenses, and then they said, here, and they give you a little set of, when you get them, they give you a little set of solution. And the only kind there was then was the one with preservative, and whatever brand it was, I don't remember now, but probably doesn't exist anymore. I used that contact lens solution, and you know, those soft contact lenses, you have to replace them more often because they kind of disintegrate. They start to lose their shape. And they start becoming a little deformed. And they also start collecting, if you wear contacts, you probably already know, they start collecting protein from your eye. And you can do a protein cleaner and an enzyme cleaner and get it off. But at some point, they become goopy, to say the best way. And you have to get new. So, you know, you have to get new ones about every year or so. And, because they just deteriorate. The soft ones do. So, every contacts, you know, new ones that I got, I was using the same solution. And one day I woke up and looked in the mirror when I got out of bed. I'm like, oh, my eyes are still red. And these were not contact lenses you could sleep in overnight. They didn't exist yet. And I didn't want those anyway, because I like my eyes to rest. Because at the end of the day, my eyes were like, get these contacts out. I'm tired of them. So I didn't want the kind. They make them now. They started making them mid-80s. Probably the ones you could sleep in, but I'm like, no. They were riskier, more chance of infection. No, and they were expensive, I think too. But I'm like, I'm not so lazy. I can't take the contacts out. No, we're taking it. I want the kind that come out. I don't even know if they make the sleeping in kind anymore. But yeah, I was going to take them out anyway because my eyes are tired of them by the end of the day. And I don't wear contacts anymore because my eyes got a little drier and it started getting irritated more earlier and earlier. At 10 o'clock, my eyes are tired of the contact. So I don't even have them anymore. But when I was 15, 16, you know, I liked them. Preferred them. And I am putting this, because this is what she has. She has this orange all across her face. But I like it because it's, you know, it's different. It's to go with the leaves. It's not supposed to be just blush. It's supposed to be, I guess the color is to give you the impression there's a whole bunch of leaves blowing by. There are so many in the background that it just gives this color. This is the way I'm taking it. But I woke up in the morning, looked in the mirror, my eyes were red. And I'm like, both of them. What happened to my eye? Ooh, did I not get enough sleep? Oh my gosh. And I'm like, why are my eyes so red? They didn't hurt. They didn't itch. They didn't burn. I'd never at that time, I don't believe, ever even had pink eye. But, you know, usually with that, you get a lot of goo and goop in there. I didn't have that. And sometimes your eyes kind of hurt, like they're sore feeling if you have pink eye. But I'm like, Mom, moms are great. Mom, why are my eyes red? She looked at it like, you're going to the eye doctor. I don't know, but don't put your contact lenses in. I think it was probably the summer. I don't think it was during school. Going to the eye doctor. So she called the doctor, made an appointment. And they told me, your eyes, because there was nothing wrong with them. When I quit putting the contacts in, you know, the red went away. They said, your eyes have developed a sensitivity to the thimerosal, which is the preservative, in the contact lens solution. I'm like, but I've been using that for 2 years. They've never been red. Yeah, but you're allergic now. And they didn't say allergic. They said you are sensitive to it. And I'm like, but I haven't been. They're like, yeah, but congratulations, you are now. Which means you can never use it again because your eyes now have this reaction. And they're like, you're very lucky. They just come out with preservative free. And that one I remember was called something like Optifree. Came in like a blue and green bottle. One was blue, one was green. And so I switched to Optifree. No more red. And I'm like, and they're like, well, they just came out. And I'm like, what would I have done if this happened last year? When it went out. I guess I couldn't have worn a contact no more. What would I have done if this happened before they invented it? Did my eyes know it had just been invented? And they waited? But both of these things, the tetracycline and the contact lens preservative, the thimerosal, both of them waited until a 2-year use mark. Used it for 2 years, my body was done. Done. Like, no more. Can't decide if I want more orange. So I don't know what it is about the 2-year mark, but 2 years, I was fine, and then no more fine. So I've learned about you're not allergic and then you are. I'm trying to think if I've had any other issue with that. I don't think so. But I did quit taking those other pills, whatever they were, started with the S, I think. I think I said that. And I had to quit taking that, or using the retinol lotion because it ate my skin up. It got to where it just made my skin hurt. So if I accidentally went like this, my whole face would then burn right here because I touched it. It made my skin touch sensitive. If I splashed water on my face, like, burned. Everything burned. Because it was like, it's like an acid or something. It eats the dead skin off your face. But I think mine was eating the live skin off my face because it was too strong. And I guess there are a lot of people that their skin is too sensitive for retinol. Or maybe you can use a lower percentage of it. But I was like, no thanks. It hurts. It made it red. I mean, I could go like that, it would turn red. It was so irritated. So it's just like my face just burns all the time. So retinol, no thank you. It's too strong. Okay. Now, what do I want to do here? Do I want to start with the light and go to dark? So it looks like we have kind of a red, kind of an orange, kind of a yellow, and a brown. So let's use, what little brush are we going to use here? Let's use this little brush. I don't know how well I can make this work. Let's use the light yellow. And I'm going to just, this is my old, you can't see the yellow problem. This is how I think, one of the ways I think I know I have warmer skin tone, because yellow doesn't show up on me. If I had pinker skin, rather than peach or orange, I just don't really have orange skin, but I have less pink skin and apparently a little yellow in my skin, so it's hard, it doesn't stand out. If you have pinker skin and put yellow on you, it'll probably show up better. Because apparently there is a little of slight yellowish in my skin. Not to the point where it really looks yellow, but to where yellow eyeshadow kind of blends in. but we're still going to use it because it's a fall color. Now, if I were to put down little bits of white concealer or very pale concealer and then put this on top of it to show it better, but that's a lot of work. And I think once I get the other colors, it'll be fine. It's going to be fine. Because that's what I'm doing. She really only has one little yellow leaf looking thing on her nose. Good. That's the one that doesn't show up very well. It shows up a little. Yellow is not a dark color, so it is harder to get that to show up, I think. So it's just going to end up kind of being a hint of the color. It's like more smeared right here. I am sort of following what she did here a little bit with these. The tree, I didn't. There's a lot more on the tree. I just think this is so cute. I just feel like I'm dabbing on here and it's like, where'd it go? Let me see it slightly. I try to make this work every time with the yellow. But see, other people can apparently make it work with the yellow. Maybe they're using paint. I don't know. Could be a lighter yellow. I seriously think a lighter yellow would be even harder to see on me because I don't have dark skin. Alright, that's going to be good for yellow. Then we have a brighter orange. Let's see how that looks. I can see it a little bit. When I get to the darker color, you're going to see it a lot better. And the thing I like about this is I don't have to do real defined shapes. I'm kind of making it a little bit of an oval egg shape, sort of. Like an elongated leaf, you know, like a long, an oval sort of leaf. So that is the story of my skin. I did hate it in high school. Hated my skin. But I will say I didn't have the kind of acne that creates deep, horrible scars. You've seen people with those really deep, craterish looking scars. And I was lucky I did not have that kind. That did that. Just didn't go as deep, I guess. I'm glad I didn't, because you just are stuck with those scars. I do have enlarged pores right here. But you have to be pretty close to see it. Most average people wouldn't know that I even had that. But some makeup I can't wear because of it. I don't know if you ever remember when they first came out with mineral makeup. Mineral makeup, I thought, because they had infomercials for it, and I thought, oh, that's what I need, is that makeup. So what it is, it's a mineral powder. So it's kind of like a heavy powder. I don't know if you've ever tried it. It's very, for the most part, kind of shiny. Because it's minerals. And minerals can have like a shine to them. And it's a little, to me, a little heavy feeling. It doesn't feel like powder. It looks like powder. It's heavier feeling than powder. But I did try it. I got some samples. Luckily, I didn't just buy it. I tried some samples. Because it looked so amazing. And on a lot of people, I think it was. But I didn't like the shininess. You looked a little burnished. I didn't like that. But the biggest issue was it enhanced enlarged pores. It would not, because it was mineral powder, it wasn't a fine powder. You know, powders can be really finely milled where they're like cornstarch. They're so fine. This can't be. So it's like a heavier grain to it, if you want to think of it that way. And So it was like too big to conceal, like a fine powder will conceal your pores. This emphasized them. And so I looked like I had pits, little tiny pits, everywhere in my face. And I'm like, oh, this is not for me. If you have enlarged pores, I do not recommend mineral powder. It highlights them. And I'm like, I feel like my face, thank you, looking cool. I feel like my face looked like the surface of the moon with that mineral powder. And if you didn't have enlarged pores, maybe it was fantastic. For me, oh no, no. It made it look worse. And I'm like, okay, that's a big no. It looks so good on TV though. They must have people with really tiny pores, because it probably would look good on that. All right, now we're going to a darker color. This is, I just did that one. Now I'm going to do that one, I think. Is that orangey enough looking? I think it is. It looks like a burnt orange. It's going to be, because that's what I'm, oh yeah, that's good. That's what I'm going to use. It's going to be the right color, because I'm going to use it. This one should show up fairly well. Oh yeah. But see, I think when I get this darker one on there, it's going to kind of pull in the other colors. You know what I mean? It's sort of gonna make them more visible somehow, because they're all in the family there. Oh, my picture just went dark. Quit that. There we are. But see how he just, can you just like magically see those light colors? If their colors are like magnets, they pull up other colors. That's why if I wear a teal green, my eyes will look teal. If I wear navy blue, it pulls out the color that's there that's normally not seen. Because I have a golden yellow flecks in my eyes. So my eyes are blue that are slightly greenish blue, but mostly blue. Just a blue that just tilts to the green side. But still a definite blue. But there are little gold flecks in there. So if I wear a teal, which is a greener blue, those little gold flecks seem to mix with the blue in my eye, and the color of the shirt pulls my eyes into a teal color. Because it like pulls it, it's what you see. When you see color, it makes you see other color. It's really weird. But if I wear navy blue, because if you look at the ring around my iris, it's darker on the outside than the rest of the blue. So it's like a midnight navy blue that's a ring around my eye color. And if I wear midnight navy blue, it makes my eyes look darker. Because it pulls, I guess when your eye sees a color, it gravitates to other places where that color is and emphasizes. That's really interesting that our eyes do that. So when I wear that teal, I think it causes the yellow flecks on my eye to appear to have blended with the blue, and then my eyes look greener. Which is really cool, because I can almost, it almost looks like I have a different color eye with doing nothing. I'm not wearing colored contacts. It's just pulling out it. That's where she has that. It's just pulling out another color that's there and making it more eye-catching. Okay. Kind of has it done like that. Alright, then we have darker over here. She has a really dark red one here. Let's use this darker red. Okay, that's what she's got. Oh, she has another one too. Alright, let's do... We gotta put more over here. She has another dark one here. It makes sense it's not just one, right? Okay, let's go back to the softer, more burnished red-orange. This is kind of fun to do because I'm really just kind of doing long dots. So this makes this one pretty easy. And they're not, like I said, they're not really leaves, they're ovals. But it looks like leaves, doesn't it? This is kind of like those painters. You ever watch those painters on TV? And take your little brush, tap, 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 tap. That's all I'm doing. And because I put it on a tree, it looks like a leaf. Again, that's like another trick of the eye. It's funny what our eyes do. Okay, now let's go to the darker red again. And she has one over here by that root. I don't know if that one shows up that much. She has a few over here. There's a few of the darker ones over here. There you go. And we have some here. I love these kind of, you kind of can't mess up. Because there's leaves blowing around. Okay, now, it just looks splotchy on that side. That's how she has it though. Okay, there's like more around the tree. Then we have the brown. I'm trying to figure out which brown. Ooh, that one. Okay. I'm going to use this big one. That brown. That's a brown too, but that's so dark. Hers isn't that dark. That's more like the trunk. It's that dark. All right, so now let's do smaller brush on these. Let's keep the one I've got first. And I'm going to do one there. Got to remember which brown I'm going to here. I've got so many browns. All right, throat. I don't know what my throat's doing. I think I need a drink of water. That's across the room. It's all right, I'll get it. So now I know if I suddenly start having a reaction to something, I have a tendency to think, what have I been taking or doing for 2 years? What is at the 2-year mark? Is there something I've been taking? Although I don't know if I've actually had it happen again. That took time. Like I've had reactions to other medicines. Usually an upset stomach reaction, but that's like instant. That's not like 2 years later. The worst one of those I ever had, I was in my early 20s and I had bronchitis that they told me was just short of going to pneumonia. They x-rayed my lungs, said you don't have pneumonia, but you're on the verge. And so they gave me a very strong antibiotic called erythromycin. Or sometimes they refer to it as emycin. I don't know if you've ever taken erythromycin. Don't take it. Unless you have a stomach of steel. Don't take it. It is, and I even took it with medication, with the medication with food. I did not get pneumonia. But I know it was hurting like right under my rib cage. It was hurting when I took a breath. I would feel this little pinch of pain, pinch of pain, pinch of pain. And they're like, yeah, you're getting like the bronchitis is settling there. And I think I was like 24 or something. I was young. And that was shortly after I was married. So anyway, they'd never taken this before, but they're like, we want to give you a strong antibiotic. We don't want to go into pneumonia. So I'm like, okay. I had never had a problem with the antibiotic before. But I've never taken that one, I guess. And I took it, like I said, with food. I knew to take it with food. I always took, and any antibiotic I always took with food. I knew to do that. But that night, I was hit with nausea. Ooh. And you know how you get nausea, and when you finally throw up, you actually feel better? I never threw up. So I never felt better. And I had never had nausea caused by a drug. I don't think, have I? At least not that bad. And I thought I was going to throw up. So I remember going into the bathroom with my pillow because my stomach was hurting so bad. And I curled up on the rug on the bathroom floor because I was so sure I was going to throw up any second. And I curled into a fetal position with this pillow on my stomach, laying on the rug, just in case. And I could have gotten up. And, I could have just gotten a bucket and done that, gone to bed. But I felt so bad. I did not want to move. Once I laid there on the floor, actually she doesn't have one on the tip of her nose, but I guess that doesn't matter. Once I laid there, any movement made me feel worse and sicker. So even though I thought, I'm not sure I'm actually going to throw up, but it made me feel so much worse to move that I wouldn't move. I stayed on the bathroom floor all night long. My husband went to bed. But I guess what was he going to do anyway? He did check on me. But I didn't want to move. Finally, the next morning, it had abated. And I called the doctor and said, I would rather have pneumonia. I cannot take these pills. And they're like, oh yeah, that's really hard on the stomach. And I'm like, you knew this? You knew this? And you gave it to me. They're like, yeah, there's not a lot of people can take it. I said, what am I, the guinea pig? What are you going to tell me for? Well, you need a really strong antibiotic. Well, what else you got? And they're like, well, there's not a whole lot of other options, but you know what we're going to give you? We're going to give you a sulfur drug. I guess there weren't a lot of options they thought was strong enough. A sulfur drug is an old-fashioned. It's before they had antibiotics, they'd give people sulfur. And it was a pill this big. And I thought, but I was like, and it was like the chalky kind, not a capsule, like a chalky pill. But I thought, I will gag that down. If it does not, I know. If it does not upset my stomach, I will swallow a piece of chalk. I don't care. So they gave me that drug, and it is like, it has an icky aftertaste because it's sulfur. But it did not make me sick. And I got better. So I'm like, yep, give me the old-fashioned sulfur drug before they invented antibiotics. I will take it. It worked. And I did not get sick. Or have stomach upset before. And I remember it's so funny talking to my grandmother one day. Telling her this story. This is my grandmother that I inherited some of this stuff from. And was telling her, oh, I was so sick. And she's like, what were you taking? And I said, emycin or erythromycin. She goes, oh, yeah, they gave me that one time, too. I can't take it either. And I'm like, I wish I'd known that. She goes, yeah, that did the same thing to me. Made me sick to my stomach. I'm like, yeah. It's rough. Now, if you've ever taken a Z-Pak, that's zithromycin. It is a myosin drug that is similar to emycin or erythromycin because it's a myosin. But when they first gave me to that and told me it was called zithromycin, I'm like, it's called what? You said emycin? And they're like, no. It's not emycin, and it still can upset your stomach, but it is nothing like erythromycin. And I'm like, okay. Well, that was newer. That hadn't been invented yet when I had bronchitis. That really almost pneumonia bronchitis. They didn't exist. But the first time I took that zithromycin that they call a Z-Pak, it does run right through you and give you diarrhea. But that's not as bad as thinking you're going to throw up all night long and your stomach cramping so bad. I still didn't like that. But it only lasts as long as you take the pills, and you only take them for like 5 days. And then I learned if you take yogurt or a supplement that has, what's it called? Oh, I forgot the name of it. It's a probiotic that's in yogurt. Acidophilus. If you don't like to eat yogurt, which I don't, if you don't like to eat yogurt, get a pill that has acidophilus in it. It's spelled like ACID. I think it's like acid. Acidophilus. It will put the good bacteria back in your stomach to help you digest the food, because zithromycin, the Z-Pak, I think it's zithromycin, yeah, zithromycin. It destroys all bacteria. That's why it's the strong antibiotic that they give you now. It destroys all bacteria. All bad, all good. So then your stomach has a hard time digesting food because it needs good bacteria is what digests your food. And so zithromycin, whatever it's called, it kills it all. So if you're going to take the Z-Pak, you might want to get, I need some more brown up in the tree. You might want to get, either eat some yogurt, because it has acidophilus in it. That's what the bacteria in yogurt is. Or get a supplement or a probiotic supplement that has it in it. And you just take a supplement. I can't stand the taste of yogurt, so I'm like, bleh. Honestly, I'd rather have diarrhea than eat yogurt. It tastes nasty to me. Mom liked yogurt. But to me, it just tastes like it's gone bad. I don't like that. It could do taste of sourness. Although if it's sour candy or something, I like that. But I don't like the sour. I guess I don't like sour milky stuff. I don't actually even like sour cream unless it's mixed in something. I like if it's mixed in something as part of the recipe. But if you're going to like give me, here, put some sour cream on glaba, no, don't like sour. I do make a lot of recipes have sour cream in it though. And I like all that. Because it's mixed. But it's really weird. So like if you were going to put sour cream on top of a baked potato, But if you make mashed potatoes and mix some sour cream in it, that's fine. I have weird taste sometimes. I actually like that, but I don't want a mouthful of sour cream. No. Too sour. Tastes bad. Okay, I need a little bit more over here. I need a little bit more in here. I even make sour cream pound cake, but it doesn't taste like sour cream. It just gives it moisture. Sour cream is really good in cakes. If you mix batter and put sour cream, they're moist. Ooh. I have a banana bread recipe that has sour cream in it. It's great for cooking. Or if it's mixed with something. Dips with sour cream in it, that's fine. If it's mixed in there. This ended up cuter on this side than I thought. It looks like leaves blowing by, doesn't it? It almost needs to have streaks of wind, but she doesn't have that. I'm afraid I'm going to mess that up. Okay, now let's do, I think we're pretty good here. Let's look at the comparison. The thing about using my tablet is it reflects. There. That's similar, huh? Just got her head tilted. Oh, now look at her skin compared to mine. See how pink she is? Now this could partly be because of the picture. But that's somebody with pink skin. You see how I am not pink? That's why yellow doesn't show up on me. And it shows up on her. She's pink. So you could have pink undertone, or you could have yellow undertone. And if you want to see the contrast, there you go. I am warm, although I am a neutral warm, which means there are people a whole lot warmer or yellower than me. Or yellow to orange kind of toned. I'm really in the middle, just leaning slightly to the warm side. She is pink. Cool. That's a cool. I'm a neutral, slightly warm. But look at the difference. That's why yellow... Look how yellow I look compared to her. So that's interesting to me. Color. Color is interesting. Like, how do I know? How do I know if I am warm or cool? If you find somebody that is insanely pinker than you, you're probably not cool. If you find somebody that looks bronze, not necessarily tanner, but their skin looks the difference in mine. See, she is not a worm. All she has to do is compare her skin to mine. She's not warm. It makes me look a whole lot more warm. But that's interesting because it can help you know what color foundation you need. And if you compare yourself to other people, sometimes you can figure it out. Especially if they know what their color is. If they're like, oh, I'm wearing this warm shaded, and then if you look at, compare yourself, look at yourself in the mirror with them or hold up their picture next to you. And if you look a lot pinker, you're not warm. Or if it's hard to tell, you're probably neutral. Or if they're warm and you look pink, then you are not warm. A lot of figuring it out. Okay, so now let's put on our mascara. You know what I could do and I never hardly do because I'm lazy, is curl my lashes. When I'm getting ready for work, I'm like, oh, I'm in a hurry. I'm going to be late. I don't want to be late. So I skip stuff. I usually put my lipstick on in the car. My lipstick on in the car. And I skip curling my lashes half the time. My lashes aren't thick or real long, and I find that half the time it doesn't make an insane difference. You know, it's not an incredible difference. So it's like if I curl them or don't curl them, they don't seem to look a whole lot different on me. But they might on other people. And some people have eyelashes that are really straight out, and you've got to have some curl. Mine aren't quite that straight. And if you have longer lashes, that will make a bigger difference. Oops, and I'm drawing on my eye. That's what happens when you have hooded eyes. It sticks out there. That's why I hid it a lot. Because this protrudes. And because it protrudes, I hid it with this. It's in the way. There is a song. It always makes me think of this song. Anytime I say, like, I'm in the way, there is an old hymn. I don't remember the exact name of it. It's probably the Gloryland Way or something's the name of it. But it actually says, if I say I'm in the way, it makes me think of that song. I'm in the way, the Gloryland way. No, it's I'm in the way, the bright and shining way. I'm in the Gloryland way. And so, if I am going somewhere that I don't do this at work, but if it's somebody that's my family or something, if they're standing in my way and I want by, I'll start singing to them, you're in the way, the bright and shiny way. It always makes me think of that song, you're in the way, so move. Okay, oh, you know what else I didn't do? I gotta do some lips. Does she have lipstick on? What does she have on? Oh, it closed up. Let me look. Song, I almost can always, oh, she has on like barely any gloss. So that to me looks like my Humble gloss. Let me see if I can find that. Where are you? Here you are, my Humble gloss. Well, we got so much color on her face we don't need. Mine looks better. Oh, thank you. It almost looks like I have cute little freckles. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Kind of what it looked like on her, too. Okay, I got a Humble gloss, which is pretty much close to my lip color, only a little more, and shiny. But I am just as likely to burst into song as not, especially if something makes me think of a song I know. I'm in the Gloryland way. That was a cool song. Old song. Old, tiny song. It's probably called the Gloryland Way or something like that. think it is. Well, it's probably my grandmother's era song. I loved old songs. I love old stuff. I love old furniture. I love old antiques. I love old dishes. I love old clothes, old hairstyles, and old hymns. Although I also like new songs. I like all songs. Really old, moderately old, new. I don't think we need to get rid of the old to bring in the new. Somehow, that's very common. People are like, oh, we have all these new songs now. We're not going to sing the old anymore. Why? They're a good song. It was a good song. Sing the new song and the old songs. You don't have to get rid of songs. We don't have to quit singing some songs to start singing other songs. We can add them to the mix. But somehow that doesn't seem to happen. People always want new. Well, after a generation or two, all those old songs are new now. Because nobody knows them. Might as well be new. And a lot of them have such good messages. All right, so now let's read our little daily devotion. Beth Moore, Praying God's Word Day by Day. Let's see which one we left off on. I think I read this one. Yes. Okay, so then this is the one we're on. The prayer that she prays comes from 1 Corinthians 13, 9 through 13. And apparently that's it. That's a lot of verses, so that's the only reference. And it says, why are we so safe in the things we pray? Who are we trying to keep from looking foolish? Us or him? What is she saying? Why are we so safe in the things we pray? Okay, I think she's trying to say sometimes we pray too safe instead of taking a risk and praying for something big. I think that's what she's saying. Praying for something, praying for a miracle or something. Why are we so safe in the things we pray? Who are we trying to keep from looking foolish? Us or him? So are we trying to keep ourselves from looking foolish for praying for a big thing? Or are we worried that God's going to look foolish if we pray for a big thing and don't get it? Maybe I think that's what she's trying to say. So here is the prayer. God, for now I know in part, and I prophesy in part, but when perfection comes, the imperfect disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. I now desire to put my childish ways behind me. Now I see but a poor reflection as in a mirror. Then I will see face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully. Lord, even as I am fully known. And now these three remain, faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. Help me prioritize the things that will always remain. Faith lives in all the places I wait to know fully. Oh, wow, what a line that was. Faith lives in all the places I wait to know fully. All of the things we're waiting to know, all of the things we're waiting to receive, all of the things we're waiting to come to pass, what lives there now is our faith. Wow! I've never thought of it that way. Our faith is there. Our faith is there waiting for the places we need to know fully. What an awesome statement that was. This, now I see, but of poor reflection in the mirror. That we don't see everything now. We don't know everything now. In the things that we are waiting for, we just don't always understand. But one day we will. And our eyes will be opened. And we will see face to face. And when we see him face to face, that's when we're going to know and understand all things. And, you know, that's one of the hard things for me. I think because of the way my mind works and the way the things my mind likes, is I like to understand things. Particularly things that don't make sense. So my mind does not like things that don't make sense. I want to figure out why. Like, why did this happen? Why did this not happen? What caused it? Especially with something I didn't like, because I don't want to do it again. I don't want it to happen again. And this is a lot of what we've researched in finding about relationships and what happened in the past and why did it happen. We don't want it to happen again. And so we want to figure it out. And, you know, we can figure out a lot of things, but there's some things we just don't have an answer to, and my brain hates that. Because I like answers. I like, here's the question, here's the answer, here's the question, here's the answer. Because then I feel like, I think it makes me feel in more of control. I can control my choices. I can control my decisions. I can control what comes into and doesn't come into my life if I know the answer. And we can get a lot of answers and know a lot of answers, but there's always those things we just don't seem to get those answers on this earth. And like I said, my brain does not like that because it likes puzzle pieces that fit into place. Here's a missing piece. Oh, look, here's the piece that goes in. Satisfaction. Satisfaction. You're putting together a puzzle or finding something in a game, or you find the treasure where you get a feeling of satisfaction that it's complete. It's fixed. It's in place. And if you have something that never gets an answer, it's like a puzzle where you have a missing piece, and I can't stand that. I want to know, I want to finish it. I want that satisfaction, the completeness, and one day we'll get it. But until then, we got a few missing pieces of stuff we don't understand, because I think we aren't capable of understanding everything godly at the moment. But when we see face to face, we'll also receive the ability for the full understanding. And it's hard to wait for that sometimes, because I'm like, God, I want the answer now. And sometimes I get it. Sometimes I get an answer. And sometimes I get what I think this could be the answer, and I can live with that. But when I'm just perplexed, I don't understand this, I don't get this, I don't like that, I don't like it. But I love the thought that my faith lives in that place. That place of, here's a missing something that I don't have an answer. My faith is there. It lives there. Because I know one day He will give me the missing puzzle piece, whether it's on this earth or the next life. One day I'm going to get that missing puzzle piece. And it's going to fit in, and I'm going to understand, because my faith lives there. Gosh, I'm going to love that answer for a long time now. So I am done for the day. I hope you enjoyed the little fall, and that you have a very happy Thanksgiving, and eat some good food. I hope you have some friends and family to be with, and that you will feel not alone, because it really sucks to feel alone. And I hope you will not be alone or feel alone. You know, some people can be alone and be content alone. They could be alone, have Thanksgiving alone, and they don't care. And if you are content and you are at peace with that, that's great. But if you don't want to be alone, I pray you are not alone, that God will have someone for you to spend your holidays with, because not having someone when you want someone is really hard. And that's a puzzle piece. The puzzle piece that I'll either get the answer to here or in heaven. We'll find out. So I hope you have a very blessed day and a happy Thanksgiving. Go be amazing. Make some good stuff to eat. Don't overeat too bad. Try to keep it down a little bit. You're going to spread it out. That's why I'm telling that to myself, not you. I'm telling it to me. Because if I overeat, now that I've been dieting and lost 77 pounds, if I overeat now, I get the worst stomach ache because my stomach's shrink now. And if I try to eat a lot of food at once, my stomach is not happy. It doesn't really, it just hurts. Oh, it just hurts. And I'm like, oh, I didn't do this to myself. So I've got to eat little, I'm telling myself already, little amounts I can have more later. Once my stomach is gone, emptied again, I can have more later. Don't eat it all in one meal. That's what I'm telling myself. So go be amazing and have a great week. Bye.